Good evening and welcome to another presentation of high school football on the Creighton Prep Sports Network at Phelps Field at Westside High School. And tonight we've got the 6th-ranked Creighton Prep Junior Jays getting set to take on the winless Lincoln Northeast Rockets. Hello, my name is Tyler Reedy, joined by Brendan Preisman, and tonight we decided to have a little bit of fun and comply with the birdcage theme. So we've got jerseys on, and should be an exciting game tonight. Prep really starting to get hot.
Oh, they certainly are. Last week against North Platte, dominant performance, especially for Jack Stessman. Nearly 250 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns against a team that's been pretty good against the run all year, handing North Platte their first loss. And Prep is now winners of 3 in a row?
2 in a row.
2 in a row, including that incredible comeback over Millard West, which was also on our network. And they're going up against a team that hasn't had quite as good a season. Lincoln Southeast dropped to 0-6 last week, and only common opponent North Platte for these teams right now. And when they played North Platte, they gave up over 500 rushing yards compared to Prep giving up just 127.
Yeah, so let's take a look at how we got here with these two teams. Creighton Prep and Lincoln Northeast have had a very, very different past decade. Prep winning a lot more games than Lincoln Northeast, averaging 6.25 wins per season, while the Rockets averaging just 2.5, and this year it's carried over with Prep starting 3-2, Lincoln Northeast beginning 0-6. And then the Prep schedule to get here started with the 42-0 loss at Westside, but they've come a long, long way since then, beating Papillion La Vista, nearly coming back to beat Lincoln Southeast, then the comeback victory over Millard West, who has since fallen out of the rankings. That comeback win really derailed Millard West's season, a loss to, at the time, unranked Lincoln East last week. And then Prep goes to North Platte, wins 24-7, and here they are tonight with the schedule really lightening up the rest of the way.
Yeah, and that Millard West game might have derailed Millard West. It might have also put Prep back on the rails, and it's been a long time coming. After that 42-0 loss, we were worried about whether this was just going to be kind of a repeat of seasons past, but since that game, the offense is averaging 24 points a game, and the defense allowed 7 points total in the past 5 quarters for the Junior Jays. So they're starting to hit their stride at the perfect time.
Yeah, so the last 2 games, a lot to be excited about. If you're a Junior Jays fan, that's for sure. It started on September 25th, 2 weeks ago. We were there for it. Cardiac CP returned with the 29 unanswered points in the 4th quarter to defeat Millard West, an incredible game. And that also kicked off really a resurgence of the Creighton Prep rushing attack. It was silent to start the season, but 98 yards for Jack Stessman, junior running back in the Millard West game. And then he followed it up with 247 and 2 touchdowns at North Platte last week. So things really getting going for Creighton Prep right now.
Yeah, that's very good, especially when you consider that the offense has had a little bit of struggles. There have been a couple interceptions, but the run game stepping up is going to be huge for Prep down the stretch, especially getting into a playoff game against a team like maybe Westside, who hasn't seen a Prep running game with this strength before.
So while some things have changed for Creighton Prep, especially the run game and winning a couple big games, one thing hasn't, and that is Alex Bullock being a stud this year at wide receiver and cornerback. He has really emerged as the team MVP this year, and you can see what he's done compared to the rest of the team. He owns 56% of Creighton Prep's catches, 69% of their receiving yards, half of their receiving touchdowns, and all 5 defensive interceptions for Creighton Prep belong to AB.
Yeah, he's played himself onto probably a Division I roster at this point. To be honest, he's just been incredible. Every game, the thing about him is he's so consistent. Like, as you can see, 5 interceptions, that's a pick a game, and 429 receiving yards, that's about 80 a game. So he's just going out there, putting in the work, and it's working out for Prep. He's definitely the focal point of their offense.
So let's see what they're up against tonight. That would be Lincoln Northeast, and the Rockets have had a very, very rough season to this point. They've lost all 6 of their games so far, and they've only played 1 top 10 opponent. They've given up over 40 points on 3 different occasions, and their last 2 games, they've averaged 400 rushing yards given up. And now the schedule only gets tougher. They're already 0-6. They've got 3 top 15 teams left in Creighton Prep, Lincoln East, and Millard West.
Yeah, they've just had a rough season. They've been going up against a lot of very talented teams. They've given up season highs in yardage to 4 different teams, which is not very good if you want to win games. But they do have a couple bright spots on the offense, though.
Yeah, so what's been fueling the Rockets amid this very difficult season, that would be running back Xavier Gray, 250 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, leading the team in both of those categories. He can also catch some passes as well. They like to use him in the halfback slip screen game, throwing it to him out of the backfield. And then wide receiver Mason Hoke, he leads the team in receiving yards, but he was not dressed during warm-ups tonight. So likely inactive Mason Hoke, the wide receiver. So a big loss for Lincoln Northeast in that category. They don't have any other receiver with over 100 receiving yards this year.
Yeah, somebody else is going to have to step up, although stepping up has been key for both teams this season.
Yeah, so you look at how these two teams match up. Offense and defense, Creighton Prep miles ahead in just about any category. 40 points allowed per game for Lincoln Northeast, 10.5 scored per game. Lincoln Northeast has not scored over 15 points in any single game this year. And look at the rushing yards they've given up, 270 per game. And now Creighton Prep starting to get hot with the run game of their own, so perfect timing.
Yeah, and a big issue that could happen for Lincoln Northeast, and you can see it on the screen there, avoiding turnovers. They've totaled 11 interceptions this year. Going up against a guy like Alex Bullock, remember, an interception per game. That could be rough for them. But one thing that might prove similar for both of these teams is their second half prowess.
Yep, so now the national anthem, and we will be back for kickoff shortly after.
Thank you. Now, let's introduce starting defense for the visitors from Lincoln Northeast. Starting with the defensive line, it all starts up front. Number 71, Gavin Wilbur. Number 55, Isaiah Ramirez. And number 11, Dom Wynn. The starting defensive line for Lincoln Northeast. Starting linebackers, number 2, Jeremiah Collier. Number 9, Dylan Gray. Number 18, Bryce Alume. Number 28, Jack Stewart. The starting secondary for the Rockets. Number 4, Xavier Gary. Number 6, Connor Alley. Number 13, James Moorhead. And number 22, Josh Potter. The starting defense from Lincoln Northeast Rockets, led by head coach Dan Martin. Now, our starting offense for your 6th-ranked Creighton Prep Junior Jays. Once again, starting up front where it all counts at center, number 60, Dylan Hulbert. Right guard, number 66, Sam Sledge. Your starting left guard, number 79, Nathan Dostal. Your starting right tackle, number 76, Joe Cratchit. And your starting left tackle, number 65, Cole Jarrett. Wide receiver, starting number 3, Alex Bullock. Number 6, wide receiver, A.J. Collins. Number 41, H-back, George Egan. Number 8, tight end, A.J. Rollins. Starting running back, number 28, Jack Stutzman. And your starting offense led by number 4, quarterback Sam Weisenberg. Your starting offense for your 6th ranked Creighton Prep Junior Jays, led by head coach Tim Young.
All right, welcome back to Phelps Field at Westside High School for this matchup between 6th-ranked Creighton Prep and winless Lincoln Northeast. Lincoln Northeast has taken the field. Creighton Prep about set to get ready. Any last big keys to the game here before we get ready to go for kickoff, Brendan?
Well, I was talking about this a little bit before the break. One of the big keys to the game is going to be the second half. Both these teams far better in the first half than they are in the second half. So far this year, Creighton Prep's first half margin is -52, and for Lincoln Northeast, it's -122. But in the second half, it gets a lot better. Lincoln Northeast, second half margin -72. Looks bad on the surface, but most of those have come in blowouts. They've actually won one, tied one, and lost one by a point. So they're much better in the second half. And Prep's second half margin, +32. The only second half they've lost this year was that 42-0 loss to Westside at the start of the year. So both these teams don't start very hot, but they sure finish hot.
Yeah, we'll see if Creighton Prep can get off to a hot start tonight. They're about set to take the field here for the second time at home this year. Socially distanced birdcage in action tonight, wearing the jerseys out on the other side of the field. But Creighton Prep about set to take the field at 3-2, ranked number 6. One of the highest they've been all year. As they're about ready to go. And here comes Prep, getting set to take on Lincoln Northeast.
And one thing that could help decide the game, especially with how Prep's rushing attack looked last week against North Platte, is how they're going to do without Max Sanders. He was the starting fullback for this team, scored a touchdown in that great comeback against Millard West, but unfortunately he is not playing tonight. He has a wrist injury, so Creighton Prep will have to go to the backup fullback, and we'll see how or if that affects the running backs.
All right, just over a minute until kickoff. Let's take a look at the weather forecast for tonight's game, and it's a perfect night for football. Couldn't ask for much more. Kickoff about set for that. It's 83 degrees and clear at the moment, and then at 9 p.m., temperatures cooling down to 76. Wind will be out of the south, just a breeze. It was really windy earlier today, but it's kicked down to a breeze 5 to 7 miles an hour, so that'll be blowing from the right to the left as you watch the game here, and no chance of precipitation tonight, so should be a great game and perfect weather for it as well.
Yeah, perfect day for football. Little warm for October, but, you know, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, better than last time. Last time we were here, it was in the low 90s, so
yep.
Definitely much better. Creighton Prep is going to get the football first. Last time we were here, Millard West, their opponent, got it first, but Creighton Prep this time set to receive. They've got Pierce Johnson, number 23, the sophomore, and Carson Bartak, number 20, back deep to return.
And one thing that's going to be key for Prep is getting a hot start, because they've struggled with it all season. But if they can get a hot start and dictate the tone of this game like they were able to do last week against North Platte, they should be able to cruise to a win.
All right, set to kick off is the senior kicker for Lincoln Northeast, Jamison Hogue. Pierce Johnson, Carson Bartak again back deep for Creighton Prep, as the 6th-ranked Junior Jays will look to continue their momentum against a winless team in Lincoln Northeast. Hogue is ready to go. And we will get underway. Lincoln Northeast and Creighton Prep, and it's a squib kick that's going to bounce at the 25. taken at the 19-yard line and out across the 30. Nice return here, running through defenders to the 38 and keeping the legs churning there was one of the up men for Creighton Prep. That was Kyle Munt with a nice return, and Prep will begin 1st and 10 at their own 38 with Sam Meisenberg at quarterback. And Meisenberg has really, really gotten better as the season has gone along this year. Started a bit rough with the Westside game. He was supposed to be in a dual role with Parker Lisey. There was a quarterback controversy there, but Meisenberg has taken over as the starter. They've really started to let him loose over the past couple weeks, and he's put up good numbers.
He's definitely earned the job and all the respect he gets from this team.
Quick pass on 1st down. There's A.J. Rollins on the outside. They try to get it to him early, and he's got space to run. Rollins still going down the sideline inside the 15, and he's going the distance on the opening play for a Creighton Prep touchdown. How about that? What a start for the Junior Jays. A.J. Rollins has struggled to get the ball much this year, but there you go. First play of the night, and he's gone.
Well, you and I have been agitating for this. Oh, never mind. There's a flag.
Oh, flag down.
Yep. But you and I have been agitating for stuff like this the past couple of weeks. We've been saying, get the ball to Rollins. He's a D1 recruit. And they get the ball to Rollins, and looked like it would have been a touchdown if not for the holding penalty. So the ball is coming back to midfield.
Yeah, so it's a spot of the foul penalty.
Yep. Still a good play, though, for Prep, getting Rollins out in space, because you saw the speed there on that run, and he's a tough guy to bring down. So if he can get out in open space against those Lincoln Northeast defenders, he should be able to have a field day.
So the touchdown wiped off the board for Creighton Prep, but they get 12 yards out of the play. Now they're set up with 1st and 10 at midfield. Nearly a jump there, and there is a whistle right in the middle of that Lincoln Northeast defensive line. It was movement, but it was prompted by an early start for Creighton Prep, so false start.
Yeah, a lot of twitching there on both sides. And sometimes there's a little bit of first drive nerves, and that might be why both these teams are so slow to start. You've got to make sure that you get into your rhythm.
Jack Stessman on 1st and 15. He takes it for about 6 yards, crossing midfield to the Lincoln Northeast 49. Stessman with 247 rush yards, by far a career high last week against North Platte, and off to a solid start with 6 yards there.
He had a big first drive last week. Maybe
11 carries on the opening drive.
Is he going to repeat himself this week?
A.J. Collins in motion. He gets the pitch. This is a forward pass on 2nd down, and Collins looking to turn the corner on the outside, but well contained by Lincoln Northeast. Gain of only 2 yards on the play, and Prep will be faced with an early 3rd down.
And as we get a minute into this first quarter, one of the things that's been derailing the Prep offense so far this season, if anything at all, has been penalties, and we've seen 2 of them already. The hold that took back the touchdown, and then the false start on 1st and 10. That sets up 3rd and 7. How's Prep going to respond?
Meisenberg trying to go deep. He's going to fire, and he's got Rollins this time. He's got the 1st down, and this time there's no flag on the play. Prep will move the chains. They were 3 for 3 on their opening drive last week on 3rd down conversions, and they get off to a good start here.
And you saw more of what makes Rollins such a talented player and why he's going to the University of Nebraska. Just got wide open across the middle of the field and made an incredible catch.
1st and 10, Lincoln Northeast 34. Here goes Meisenberg to the left, going to throw on the run, and there's Rollins again climbing the ladder to bring it in and trying to stretch forward for the 1st down. It depends on the spot, and they are going to, I believe, leave him short, so it's going to be 2nd and inches, 2nd and 1 from the 25.
And Rollins just too quick right now for that Lincoln Northeast defense. Good play call there by the Prep offense. They got the quarterback Meisenberg rolling out in space. Defense had to key on him instead of Rollins. That left Rollins wide open.
2nd and 1. This is George Egan, the fullback, taking the carry and getting the 1st down to the 15-yard line. Egan is filling in for the injured Max Sanders tonight, and he gets 10 yards there, moving the chains for Creighton Prep and bringing them into the red zone.
And the Prep offense clicking again. It seems like whatever that talk was at the end of the 3rd quarter against Millard West, it worked very well because they're still playing incredible football.
Toss it here to Stessman. He's able to sidestep 1 and still breaking tackles down to about the 11 or 10-yard line. Gain of 4 there for Stessman on his 2nd carry, and it'll be 2nd and 6. So Creighton Prep doing a nice job picking up good, consistent gains, especially on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Stessman is able to get those nice gains, whether it's this week, last week, or even against Millard West, is because he's very shifty. You watch him when he runs, he's able to move laterally a lot, and he's able to slip past defenders that ordinarily would tackle him.
He's still in the game, a running back on 2nd and 6. 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Opening drive for Creighton Prep. Rollins goes in motion. He's got 2 catches on the drive. Here's a third. A.J. Rollins trying to turn the corner, and he is in for a Creighton Prep touchdown. So Rollins caught the long touchdown on the first play of the drive. It got called back, but he's got his touchdown here from 11 yards out, and it's 6-0 Junior Jays.
And Prep, probably the more talented team here. And how do you win a game when you've got the talent gap in your hand? You get the ball to your more talented players. Prep was able to get the ball into A.J. Rollins' hands in space, and he was able to just wreak havoc on that defense.
So Rollins with 3 catches on the opening drive, and for the second week in a row, the Junior Jays cash in on drive number 1 with a touchdown. Here's Pat Foley, has not missed a kick of any kind this year, and that will hold true as the extra point is good. 7-0 Prep with 8:51 to go in the first quarter.
And that's just a perfect drive by Creighton Prep if you ignore the penalties. But they just kept doing what was working. They took what the defense was giving them, and they turned it into extra stuff, because sometimes if the defense gives you a little bit of running room, it maybe goes for 3 yards, but guys like Stessman are able to turn that 3 or 4 yards and turn it into 7 or 8. And that's why Prep was able to keep driving. And a pretty easy score for Prep. Some very nice offensive football these last 6 quarters now for Prep.
Yeah, not much in the way of resistance from Lincoln Northeast, so we'll see how they can respond getting the football back on offense as Pat Foley will tee it up. But Sam Meisenberg, accurate throws. Jack Stessman, good runs, running through contact. And then A.J. Rollins with great hands and speed at the wide receiver position. And that's impressive when Creighton Prep can march right down the field like that and not even have to get it to their star receiver, Alex Bullock.
Well, technically they've got 2 star receivers in Bullock and Rollins. Difference is Bullock's been feasting all season while Rollins has been kind of quiet. He's stepping up today, though.
Yep. 3 catches and a touchdown on the opening drive for big number 8. And Pat Foley will kick it away. Xavier Gray is the normal kick returner for Lincoln Northeast, and he is going to take this from about the 1. Bobbled it and gets across the 15, and he's going to be spilled by a host of Prep defenders at about the 19-yard line. So that is where Lincoln Northeast will begin, led by quarterback Jeremiah Collier. And the story so far for him this year has been the interceptions, 11 of them compared to only 4 touchdowns so far.
Yeah, and that's one thing that he's going to have to avoid all game, but especially this first drive. After Prep just drove right down the field and scored on their first drive, Lincoln Northeast just needs to get their defense a break, maybe get a couple of first downs, drive down the field, and get some offensive consistency going early.
He starts in an empty backfield trying to do it himself here on first down, and he's going to be taken down in the backfield at the 15-yard line. So an early loss for the quarterback Collier, as it was one of the Prep defensive linemen, number 77, Matt Nanfito, getting in there for the stop.
And that's one thing that Prep's really showed in the past couple of weeks, the defensive line getting a lot of penetration in the backfield. We saw that against Millard West, we saw it against North Platte, and we're seeing it now here. The defensive line has really been the key to Prep's defensive prowess these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've really been improving against the run. Off to a good start here. 2nd and 14. Play fake. Collier's pass is low, but hauled in at the 20-yard line. Nope, incomplete. Incomplete is the call at the last moment. It was intended for Dominic Wynn, the tight end, but incomplete. So inaccurate on the first throw of the night is Jeremiah Collier.
And that's really not how you want to start off a drive if you're a quarterback. First a sack, and then an incompletion to an open receiver. Stuff like that can rattle your confidence, but the difference between the good quarterbacks and the bad quarterbacks is that the good quarterbacks don't let it get to them. They just bounce back and make the right play the next time.
Here is 3rd and 14. Collier throwing it out of the backfield. There's a swing pass to Gray, and he goes nowhere. Look at him get pushed back by the Creighton Prep defenders. No gain on the play as the Junior Jays hold strong on defense and force a quick 3 and out.
And what you saw there on that play, and basically this entire series, was just the speed of the Prep defense. From the front 4 to the secondary, everyone on this team can run, and they showed it there. Lincoln Northeast just looked kind of outclassed on these first 3 downs.
7:25 to go in the first quarter. Isaiah Ramirez will punt. Back for the return is Alex Bullock for Creighton Prep. And Lincoln Northeast late getting a man on the field.
If they kick to him, it might be the first time he touches the ball.
And we've got a whistle here. And a penalty delay of game against Lincoln Northeast. So late running out onto the field there was Bryce Ilume, and that will cost the Rockets 5 yards.
And that's one of the worst ways as a team you can finish off a drive. If you're already down, your offense didn't look very good, you've got to come out there and just get the punt off. But a delay of game on the punt, not only does that push them farther back, that also might hurt them mentally even more.
The punt from Ramirez will be playable for Bullock. Alex Bullock inside the 40, gets a block, and he's inside the 30. Bullock all the way down to the 25, so Creighton Prep, after an easy opening drive touchdown, will have great starting field position at the Rockets' 26 for drive number 2 after the Bullock 19-yard return.
And that's one of the reasons why Alex Bullock has been balling out this season. You saw the speed there, you saw the instincts, just a great return by Bullock. And now the Prep offense is set up in prime position to get another touchdown with 7:01 to go in this first quarter.
They'll mark it at the 27-yard line for 1st and 10. A.J. Rollins is not on the field. No, he's at the top of the screen. Rollins on the top of the screen here had 3 catches on the opening drive, but it's Jack Stessman, the running back, getting the carry for about 6. So again, Creighton Prep finding solid gains on each and every play. They start this drive with a 6-yarder down to the 21.
And Stessman turning into a big issue for defenses, because if the other team can just get 6 yards a pop, you can't stop them at all.
2nd and 4, quick screen. This time it's Bullock for the first time, trying to get to the corner of the end zone. He dives, and he is out of bounds inside the 5, but it's a first down for Creighton Prep, gain of about 16 yards as Alex Bullock takes his first catch of the game and sets up 1st and goal.
And there's another one of those screen passes. We saw A.J. Rollins used that to great success, technically 2 touchdowns on the opening drive. One was called back. And now they're getting it to Bullock with a nice block by Rollins to seal off the corner on that side. And this Prep offense just looks like they can do no wrong right now.
Yep, they've got 1st and goal at the 5, 6.5 to go in quarter number 1. Meisenberg looking to throw in the middle of the end zone. It's just overthrown and incomplete. And that will bring up 2nd and goal. Pass was intended for Jack Kirkwood, the junior, and it's going to be 2nd and goal. So that's the first time we've really seen Meisenberg inaccurate so far.
Yeah, and those are always the tough throws because you don't want to throw a pick on the goal line, but you also don't want to just completely overthrow your receiver.
This time he hands to Stessman for 3 yards, and Creighton Prep will have a 3rd and goal from the 2.
And a stop here by Lincoln Northeast would be huge. If they're able to hold Prep to a field goal after Prep started from inside their 30, that could be huge for defensive and offensive momentum.
Right up the middle, George Egan is going to get into the end zone for another Junior Jays touchdown. So before we're even halfway through the first quarter, Creighton Prep takes a 13-0 lead as George Egan runs it in for the first time this year and puts Prep up by 2 scores.
Yeah, and Egan, the backup to Max Sanders, who is not playing tonight, but he looks very solid himself. Only 2 carries so far, but he took 1 for a first down and the other for 6.
So Pat Foley will come back on for another extra point. I'm sure he'll get a lot of work tonight with the way Creighton Prep's offense is rolling. Another PAT is good from the star kicker, and it's 14-0 Junior Jays, 6:05 to go in the first quarter. So Lincoln Northeast better get on their horse offensively if they want to get back in this game and keep up with Creighton Prep's high-powered offensive attack.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really making the difference right now for Prep is the offensive line. You saw the push there on that final touchdown run. You've seen it a couple times on the other run plays. And on the screen passes, those aren't easy because sometimes you got to get out on the sidelines and block. And they've been able to do that so far. The blocking has just been incredible for Prep. And Lincoln Northeast, who's been pretty good at getting into the backfield, nearly 3 tackles a loss per game so far this year, hasn't been able to put any pressure on Meisenberg or the running backs.
Yeah, they've been powerless, and you got to think that this Creighton Prep offensive line has plenty of bolstered and renewed confidence after the last 2 weeks. Of course, the comeback win, but they have opened up huge lanes in the running game. 328 rushing yards last week for the Junior Jays at North Platte. So that offensive line really doing well in the past few games.
They certainly are.
So Pat Foley will kick it off again. His last one was returned for about 17 yards by Xavier Gary. And this kick into that slight breeze will again be taken from the 1. Here comes Gary out across the 10. And once again, the Junior Jays are going to stand him up between the 15 and the 20. They'll mark him down at the 17-yard line this time. And that is where Lincoln Northeast will begin their second drive of the evening.
And right now, it looks like Prep just wants it more. Even on those special teams plays and the kickoff returns, Gary hasn't been able to get out past the 20 so far because that Prep kickoff unit is just running down the field. They want to hit somebody. They want to win this game, and they're showing it right now.
Yep, and they're putting plenty of pressure on the quarterback, Jeremiah Collier. Already seen an inaccurate throw from him, and then one time he tried to take it himself right up the middle and was stood up by Matt Nanfito in the middle of that Prep defense. So let's see what the Rockets go with on their second drive. They bring Gary in motion, hand it to him, cut back through the middle, and he's able to get a couple yards out to the 20-yard line. So a gain of about 3 brings up 2nd and 7.
And Prep defense so far doing a great job swarming to the ball. Gary, obviously a really talented player, very fast, but hasn't been able to find the holes so far because that Prep defense has just been swarming to whichever Rocket player has the ball.
And Lincoln Northeast trying to get it to Xavier Gary in space. He's got good speed. They've been trying all year to get it to him in the open field, but that Prep defense contains him well. Play fake on second down, and accurate this time is Collier as he connects with his tight end. Ball comes out at the end of it. Are they going to rule he was down first?
Doesn't look like it.
Well, let's see what the deal is here. It was caught by number 11, Dominic Wynn, but they are going to rule that he was down, or at least his forward progress was stopped before that ball came out, so it'll be first down.
Yeah, that would have been the question on that play because Wynn obviously got the first down, but he just kept fighting for extra yardage and nearly paid for it there. The ball was ripped out. Lucky break for Lincoln Northeast that it wasn't ruled a fumble because Prep clearly fell on that. There were about 5 guys on that ball wearing blue.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 28 as
false start.
Gray goes in motion, and there is a false start against Lincoln Northeast here. And that will back them up to 1st and 15. Lincoln Northeast has had a lot of penalty trouble to start the season, and they penalize themselves again here, and they'll be backed up to 1st and 15, 4:53 to go in the first quarter.
If we were one of those fancy actual broadcast sites, I'd be able to show the replay of the left guard moving, but I wasn't, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Anyway, that brings us back to 1st and 15, and we mentioned penalties hurting the Prep offense. Imagine what they could do to this Lincoln Northeast offense that's already been struggling to get the wheels turning.
Creighton Prep really stacking that defensive line here on 1st and 15. Play fake, quick throw to the outside is overthrown and incomplete. It was intended for Dylan Gray, but Collier's pass out of his reach, and it'll be 2nd and 15.
And even if the pass was accurate, I'm not sure how far it would have gone because A.J. Collins and Toby Okafor, both of them seniors, they were right there in the receiver's face, ready to light him up if he did manage to get his hands on the ball. The receiver probably a little bit lucky that that ball wasn't on target, or he might have gotten popped.
And Prep doing a nice job covering all parts of the field. When Northeast tries to run it up the middle, they've got guys there. When they try and throw it on the outside, they've got defensive backs waiting for it. This time it's a run and dragged down in the backfield for a loss of a couple there, as the Prep run defense again proves to be stronger than the Lincoln Northeast offensive line. It's going to be 3rd and long, as that was Ivan Elame on the carry, and it's going to be 3rd and 17.
And that play just showed how hungry this Prep defense is. You saw that the running back was able to avoid the first tackle, and he kept going, but then 2 more guys hit him. And by that point, the rest of the defense was already swarming. Just too much Prep defense right now for the Lincoln Northeast offense to handle as we hit 3:45 to go in this opening quarter.
So once again, it's 3rd and very long for Lincoln Northeast. Last time they had 3rd and 14, and now a bobbled snap. Collier's got to pick it up and try and run with it, and he's going nowhere. dropped in the backfield at the 12-yard line there by number 51, Joey Glogowski. So things going very, very wrong for Lincoln Northeast on both sides of the ball. It'll be 4th down and a mile.
And that's a very rough drive for Lincoln Northeast. Nearly 2 lost fumbles for them. And once again, they'll be punting from inside their own 10. And that's not what they want, especially considering how much the Prep offense has been able to get past them so far.
Oh boy, this is not a great punt. It's high in the air, but it's going to get a great bounce for the Rockets and roll all the way to the 43-yard line of Creighton Prep. So that thing bounced about 27 yards. And what could have been great field position for the Junior Jays, it's still good field position, but not as great as the last time when they started at the Lincoln Northeast 27. But the Junior Jays on offense so far, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
And that roll could be pretty important because Prep had very nice field position for their second scoring drive. But now, maybe the Lincoln Northeast defense, since Prep will have more space to cover, will be able to get a stop and figure out what the offense is going to do.
1st and 10 so far, so far the story has been A.J. Rollins as Meisenberg looks to throw. Nice pass in traffic to Alex Bullock, and he keeps the legs moving, picking up a 1st down inside the 45 of Lincoln Northeast. So that's a 12-yard gain for the top Prep receiver, and it's another Junior Jays 1st down.
And Bullock looked a little like Julian Edelman before he was dropping everything there. Ran the nice short route and managed to make a nice run after the catch.
Here's Vinny Cassiopo on 1st down, and he is breaking free. His first carry of the season, and he scores from 42 yards out. Touchdown, Creighton Prep.
Well, welcome back, Vinny. We haven't seen him at all this season. He's been dealing with some other injuries, but he comes back on the field, and now it looks like Prep might have a 2-headed monster in the backfield with Cassiopo and Stessman. And things are not looking good at all for Lincoln Northeast.
So Cassiopo, who had missed the first chunk of the season with a dislocated elbow, sitting behind Jack Stessman now in the depth chart with Stessman's emergence. But Cassiopo in the game takes his first carry of the season to the house. So here's Pat Foley, 3rd extra point try. He's made his first 2, and now he has made his first 3. Junior Jays 21, Rockets nothing with 2:30 to go in quarter number 1.
And I think we saw him dress either 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Didn't play, though. And we were wondering, well, is he going to get back in? Does the Prep offense still need him, maybe, after the Stessman performance? And Prep offense might not need him, but they'll sure take him. If Prep can get both him and Stessman running like that, then they could be a dangerous team for anybody in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then combine the 2 of them with Alex Bullock and A.J. Rollins on the outside. You bet they could be dangerous. And they're only getting better. They're only getting more confident, and that confidence and talent has been on full display to start this one against Lincoln Northeast.
Yep, and all this scoring is doing is just increasing the momentum shift on the defensive side in favor of Prep because the Lincoln Northeast offense is just sitting on the sidelines for a couple of minutes and watching Prep get into the end zone again, and they haven't even made it out of the shadow of their own goalposts.
So 2:30 to play in the first quarter. Creighton Prep leads by 3 touchdowns. And you talked about in the open how both these teams have struggled to get off to good starts, but the Junior Jays are flying high early on tonight as Pat Foley's kick will be returnable again from the 1. Here comes Xavier Gary, and again he's going to be met, able to break 1 tackle and is put down at about the 19-yard line. So Lincoln Northeast again will not have great field position to start their drive, and they have really struggled to move the ball on offense without going backwards.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that these kickoffs have shown me is really just how talented Pat Foley is at putting kicks where he wants them to go. Because all 3 of his kicks so far have basically been caught on the 1-yard line. And that's perfect for the Prep offense, or the Prep kickoff team, because it's not a touchback, but it's also not far enough up that even a short return will get Lincoln Northeast to the 20 or the 25. Foley is setting up his teammates to pin Lincoln Northeast back, and they are delivering.
Yep, Foley showing why he's ranked as the top kicker and punter in the state of Nebraska. So here is 1st and 10 at the 19 for Lincoln Northeast, trailing by 21. Xavier Gary's going to be spilled in the backfield again for a loss of a couple yards as Joey Glogowski has his number again. It's going to be 2nd and 11 for the Rockets as they continue to struggle.
And as we come down on 2 minutes to go in this first quarter, there's really nothing that Gary's been doing wrong, in my opinion. He's been trying to find the holes. There just haven't been any. Glogowski especially has done a very good job of getting off his blocks and making the plays that he needs to.
Yeah, as soon as Gary gets his carries, he's got a Prep defender right on him to try and ward off. 2nd and 12. Pass is deflected and incomplete as Collier was looking for Gary out of the backfield, but the Junior Jays pass rush was all over it and bats it down at the line of scrimmage. Matt Nanfito knocked the pass down. He's been busy so far, and it'll be 3rd and 12.
That play looked like a busted play from the start. There was a Prep linebacker coming in basically unblocked, about to lay the boom on Collier, and Collier just had to get the ball out to Gary in the flat, but ball never got there because Nanfito read the play perfectly and was able to bat the pass down.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 12. All 3 of Lincoln Northeast's third down at this point have been 10 yards or more that they've needed to get. They try and go with the run this time, and Xavier Gary's got space, but I don't know if he got enough for the first down. He picks up 11 yards, but that's still going to leave him a yard shy of the first down. So now 4th and 1, and it looks like the offense is going to stay out on the field.
And this is something that just makes good football sense at this point. You're down 21. The defense clearly hasn't been able to get a lot of stops, and the offense has been stuck in the mud so far. So anything you can do to get a little bit of momentum back would work.
And it's another false start penalty against Lincoln Northeast. So 4th and 2 turns into 4th and 7, and now the decision might have to change here for the Rockets. They're leaving most of their offensive personnel out there. They're just missing the quarterback, Collier, here.
Looks like he's talking with the coach on the sidelines. He's coming back in now.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. So the Rockets really going all or nothing at this point, because if they don't convert here, that gives Creighton Prep field position just outside the red zone to score again.
And that penalty honestly might have killed their hopes for good. You go from 4th and 1 or 2 to 4th and 7.
Quick pass, intercepted. Intercepted at the 32, and this is going to be returned inside the 15, inside the 10, and all the way down to the 5-yard line by Sam Rodino. There was a flag that flew as Collier was throwing the ball. It will be 1st and goal for Creighton Prep at the moment, but we will check the penalty flag.
And that play, just another example of the chaos that Prep's speed on defense has caused. A bad throw by Collier and Rodino able to take advantage of it. Looked like he was the intended receiver on that play. And with 46 seconds to go in the first half, if this penalty is on Lincoln Northeast, Prep has taken over.
It was a false start against Lincoln Northeast, so Creighton Prep declines it, and now they've got 1st and goal at the Northeast 5. So they could be up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter here. Of course, they scored 29 in the 4th quarter just 2 weeks ago in the Millard West game to complete that crazy comeback. But the Junior Jays, you wanted them to get off to a fast start, and that they have tonight.
They certainly have, and the defense, much like last week, or 2 weeks ago, against Millard West, has been setting the offense up for success, and the offense has been responding.
And they've got the backup quarterback now in the game, Parker Lisey, the sophomore transfer, former Elkhorn South player, as he looks to throw here, and he's got a wide-open Alex Bullock for a Creighton Prep touchdown, and the Junior Jays continue to pour it on in the first quarter. Bullock on the receiving end. Everybody's getting touchdowns for the Junior Jays, and it's 27-0.
Yeah, Birdcage having fun, and it looks like everybody on the Prep roster right now is having fun. Lisey hasn't played at all really since the West Side game. He did have a couple snaps against Millard West 2 weeks ago when Meisenberg got shaken up. It was actually, I believe, on Prep's second drive. He had to convert a 4th down, and he did it pretty impressively. But Lisey getting some reps now, and he looks very good out there. He looked like he'll be able to take over for Meisenberg next year because he'll only be a junior.
Pat Foley continues to get his work in tonight. His 4th extra point made, and it's now 28-0 Junior Jays with 41 seconds to go in the first quarter. So if you expected and hoped for a Prep blowout tonight, that's exactly what you've gotten here at Westside. Junior Jays with 4 first-quarter touchdowns, and I don't think there will be any need for a crazy comeback tonight.
Prep looking like the team that they're sharing the field with, to be honest, right now. The way the offense and defense have just been dominating both lines of scrimmage has honestly looked like how Westside looked in the second quarter in the first game of the season. And I wasn't sure about how far Prep could go in the playoffs at the beginning of the season, but now, I don't know how far they could go. This team doesn't appear to have a true ceiling. They could.
Yeah. They're only getting better as the season goes along.
If everything breaks right for them, a state title is possible.
Yeah, and their last 2 games this season, their next game is against a non-top 10 opponent in Papillion La Vista South, but then their last game is against Lincoln East, who just squeaked into the top 10 with a win over Millard West last week. So Creighton Prep's got one easier game left and one more challenging game to see how realistic their potential is here. So Pat Foley will kick again. All 3 of his kicks so far have gone to the 1. This one a bit shorter, taken at the 2 by Xavier Gary, and he's got nowhere to go. Just looking for some space, but there's none to be had as he's taken down at the 15. And again, the Rockets will start with poor field position.
And what this game has turned into really is kind of Prep proving themselves. Because we know that they're in the number 5 to number 8 range for Class A right now. But what they're trying to do now, at this point, is prove that they can be on the west side or Bellevue West level. And so far, this first quarter, they certainly look like they are.
Yep, so with 34 seconds left in the first quarter, the Rockets, who have not moved the ball past their own 40-yard line, will begin yet another drive. One positive for Lincoln Northeast, if there is any to take away from this start, has been that they haven't turned the ball over. Well, actually, they threw the interception on the last drive, but we got a flag again before the snap, and we got another false start, it looks like, against Lincoln Northeast. So they just continue to shoot themselves in the foot tonight.
I would say that the offense has been doing very well at getting good plays set up, but one of 2 things have happened. Either there's been an unforced error by Lincoln Northeast, whether that's a bad throw, a missed block, a dropped pass, or the Prep defense has forced an error, whether that's a batted down pass, a sack, or a tackle for loss.
Play fake on first down, and Collier's pass is incomplete. Intended receiver there was number 81, Martrevius Gray, the wide receiver, but the pass behind inaccurate, and it'll be 2nd and 15.
And I don't blame Collier for overthrowing that ball there. Joey Glogowski and Matt Namfito were both bearing down on him, looking to hit him hard, and the Prep defensive line has just gotten some incredible penetration so far in this first quarter.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 15. Collier will take it himself, trying to get to the outside, but he is wrapped up and taken down quickly there by the Junior Jays' John Pargo. So everybody getting snaps on both sides of the ball for Creighton Prep, and still playing well. So it's going to be 3rd and long once again for Lincoln Northeast.
And that's really been the story of their offense so far. They might have a nice play to start off the series, but then either a penalty or a tackle for loss will send them back, and now they're facing another 3rd and long. I still don't think they've had a 3rd down shorter than 10 yards.
Yeah, they've had 3rd and 14, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 12, and now 3rd and 15.
I think they had a 3rd and 25 at one point, too.
Yeah, they might have. That might have been the 4th down, though.
Oh, maybe. No, 4th down was 4th and 7.
Anyway, here's 3rd and 15. Collier's pass is nearly intercepted. Look out there as bearing down was Sainstock for Creighton Prep. Will Sainstock couldn't quite get there to stop Lincoln Northeast's James Moorhead Jr. from making the catch. And now 4th down. Looks like the Rockets want to go for it again on 4th and 4.
Doesn't look like they're going to get the snap off before the end of the quarter, though, unless they want to. And they will not. So an incredible first quarter of football from Creighton Prep. They've probably already played their 2 best quarters of the season, what with this and the Millard West 4th quarter. But if this is an example of things to come, I can't wait to watch this team finish off their season.
Yep, so the Junior Jays take a 28-0 lead into the second quarter. 4 touchdowns on 4 drives for the Junior Jays. They forced a turnover as well on an interception. What's been the most impressive thing to you, offense or defense or both? Can you choose one?
No, not really. Can I cheat and say Pat Foley kicking it on the 1 every single time?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's some incredible accuracy there. But what's really impressed me is just how consistent Prep has looked in the domination so far. Whether it's offensively or defensively, they're winning the battle in the trenches. They're winning the battle in space. They're either making the tackle in space that they need to, or they're breaking the tackles in space. And the star players on both sides of the ball for Prep definitely showed up tonight.
Yeah, and everybody's getting involved for the Junior Jays. We've seen A.J. Rollins with a few catches on the opening drive. We saw Alex Bullock with a touchdown. George Egan had a touchdown run. Jack Stessman has had good carries. Vinny Cassioppo came back for his first carry of the season and scored a touchdown from 42 yards out. So everybody
threw a touchdown.
Yeah, everybody getting involved for the Junior Jays. So
maybe I should go out there for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you played football the first 2 years you were here, so.
Big mistake.
Yeah, we'll see what you can do. 4th and 4, Collier looking to throw. His pass is hauled in, so the Rockets convert on the 4th down. Gain of 17 yards there as Collier's able to hook up out to the 38-yard line with Martrevious Gray, or actually that might have been number 13, James Moorhead again. So a first down for the Rockets as they finally are able to convert.
And that's a huge play for them, because that showed that they were able to find the holes in the Prep defense and exploit them. Probably Collier's best throw of the night so far, and that could be huge for momentum going forward.
Nice move there immediately from Dylan Gray as he takes it out across the 40 before he stood up at the 43. So gain of 5 yards for Dylan Gray as Lincoln Northeast starting to find a bit more success on offense. This is the first time tonight that they've moved it across the 40.
And the Prep defense still working hard, but the Lincoln Northeast team appears to have found another gear. And we saw the continued fight even after the play was dead by both sides.
2nd down. They hand it off again to Dylan Gray, and he's got the first down across midfield. So Lincoln Northeast leaving their starters in the game, facing off against many of Creighton Prep's backups. But the Rockets moving the football well, and they're across midfield, 1st and 10 at the Jays' 47.
And sometimes all you can do in a game like this is just find out what works for your offense, and Lincoln Northeast appears to have found that.
Yeah, they're finding it with Dylan Gray as he takes another carry for good yardage, picking up about 5 or 6 there, as it's going to be 2nd and 4 from the 41-yard line. So they're feeding Dylan Gray, their big physical running back, and he is paying dividends for the Rockets here on this drive.
Looks like there might have been a penalty, though.
Yep.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, it appears, on the Lincoln Northeast side. It looks like it's getting chippy. We heard some of the fans calling for an unsportsmanlike conduct after William Sengstock and Tony Melitti wrestled one of the runners down a couple plays ago, but unsportsmanlike conduct, we don't want things to get too chippy here.
Yeah, still got a lot of game left. 1st down and 15 for Lincoln Northeast. Collier trying to throw, moving left, being chased. Now sets his feet and going to take off, looking to turn the corner, and he's taken out of bounds hard there. Again by Joey Glogowski, who continues to have a busy night. Gain of about 4 or 5 yards for Collier, and that makes it 2nd and 11.
And Collier there showing his speed and a pretty high football IQ there. Instead of just chucking it downfield to any white jersey he saw or just taking off and running, he kept looking, kept buying himself time by moving left.
And we have another pre-snap penalty here. And we have another one against Lincoln Northeast. So the false starts continue. And the Rockets will be backed up to 2nd and 15 now on their own side of the field at the 47.
And some of this stuff makes you wonder how discipline can affect how a team plays. Like, we've seen it in the NFL with Bill Belichick's Patriot system, how they continuously churn out good years, year after year after year, with not a lot of penalties. And Lincoln Northeast, a lot of penalties, not a lot of yardage gained. There's an obvious correlation there, but is there a deeper correlation as well?
2nd down, play fake, quick throw. It's high, and nearly intercepted. Went through the hands of Dominic Wynn, the tight end, and nearly right into the hands of Michael Palmazzano, the junior free safety. So Collier gets away with an inaccurate throw there, and it's going to be 3rd and long for the Rockets.
And this is a very familiar situation for Lincoln Northeast, but they appeared to have found something last drive with those intermediate to deep routes that managed to get in between the Prep linebackers and the Prep safeties. If they keep running those routes and Collier has enough time to find his receivers, they could start moving the ball.
3rd and 15, 10:27 to go in the 2nd quarter. Collier on a rollout right, being chased, gets a nice block from Gary, and now going to pitch it at the last moment, and it's incomplete. Looked like Paul Mazzano came flying in again to make a hit on the intended receiver, Josh Platter, the running back, but incomplete as there was some contact, and it'll be 4th down.
And Collier definitely playing all out now. he doesn't want this game to be a complete loss for him. So he's doing all he can right now to carry this Lincoln Northeast offense, and it almost worked. Another nice play by Collier. It kind of looked like your guy Patrick Mahomes out there scrambling around, trying to find somebody open. Difference is he doesn't have guys like Tyreek Hill on his team.
Yep. So a nice job defensively from Creighton Prep. They get another stop, and Lincoln Northeast will remain off the board for another drive as Isaiah Ramirez will come in to punt again, but there's a whistle and a flag down and back by the Creighton Prep punt returner.
It's delay of game.
Yep, delay of game. So the Rockets' pre-snap penalties continue to amount. There have been plenty of those so far, helping to fuel this lopsided score line. So it's going to be 4th and 20 now for the Rockets.
Anytime you've got more delay of game penalties on punts than points, you're probably not having a good night.
Yep. And this punt, low line drive, is going to be taken nicely by Pierce Johnson at the 29, and he's got room to run.
Ooh.
Johnson down the sideline. He's still on his feet. There's a flag down at midfield, but Pierce Johnson's in for a touchdown. But we'll have to see if it stands as the sophomore goes the distance. But we will check on this penalty flag, which is at the Prep 48-yard line.
Some incredible speed by Johnson there on that run. And some nice blocking, too. I think I saw Jonah Moore, the junior receiver, deliver a nice block to one of the Lincoln Northeast special teams players. But there is a flag, and it looks like it's against Prep. So wipe that touchdown off the board.
Yeah, so we saw in the opening play of the game, A.J. Rollins had a 62-yard receiving touchdown called back by penalty, and now Pierce Johnson has a 65-yard punt return touchdown taken back by a penalty marker. So this scoreline could be even worse right now.
Looks like it might be a holding call on Prep.
Yep.
And they still get the ball, but that's one thing that if you're Johnson, especially if the holding didn't really affect anything, you just got to look at the guy who did it and be like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Just let me have some fun.
Yeah, I was on the other side of the field. So Pierce Johnson's long return is called back, and the Junior Jays will start at their own 19 with 1st and 10.
I think there must have been another penalty because he caught the ball.
Well, it could have been an illegal block in the back.
Yeah,
maybe.
that would explain it.
That would take it 15 yards.
It looked like the flag came out before Johnson even caught the ball.
Here's a pitch on 1st down. And getting to the outside with some speed here, all the way across the 45 and across midfield to the 41 of Lincoln Northeast. That would be Aiden Morey, the junior. He's got a lot of speed, and he shows it off there, getting a big gain of 41 yards for the Junior Jays.
And Prep just having some fun at this point. A nice jet sweep there, and Morey found the hole and just went directly to it. Some nice speed there. And a good touchdown-saving tackle by number 22 on Lincoln Northeast, Josh Platter, the senior.
Parker Lisey moving right, and his pass falls incomplete at the feet of Aiden Morey. So at this point, looks like A.J. Rollins and Jack Stessman are the only typical starters still in the game for Creighton Prep.
Well, the line might be out there.
Yeah, the offensive line is still there, but as far as skill position players go, it's just Stessman and Rollins, as Alex Bullock at wide receiver, Sam Eisenberg at quarterback have all been taken out with the score where it is right now. 2nd and 10. Stessman straight forward, and he picks up about 4 or 5, and that will bring up a 3rd down for the Junior Jays.
And Prep definitely just showing the depth of their offensive talent, because we've now seen Aiden Morey, who I'm not sure how deep he is down on the depth chart, but he's not one of the top 2, and he was out there making plays. We've seen Lisey out there making plays despite having not really had the chance to in a long time.
Vinny Cassioppo's back in a running back.
And yeah, Cassioppo, first game back this season after being the lead running back last season. He's doing well.
He's got the call again, and no touchdown this time for Vinny C., and he's taken down at the 38. So that will set up 4th and 6 for the Junior Jays. I kind of want to see him try a Pat Foley field goal.
I do
from here.
too.
Yeah, why not?
Looks like they're going for it, though. Interesting call, up 28-0 with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, but I suppose if you're not quite in Foley's range yet.
Lisey to throw on 4th down. Look at that throw, wide open on the outside, and sidestepping one, still dragging a defender down to the 20 is Jonah Moore, the junior wide receiver, and that's a gain of about 22 yards and a Prep 1st down.
And A great offensive play there by Prep. Moore ran a great out route to free himself. Lizzie had all day and just delivered a beautiful throw. Those deep out throws are some of the most difficult for a quarterback to make, but he made it quite well. And now Prep is set up basically at the red zone again.
Yeah, they're right at the 20-yard line in the I formation here. Vinny Cassiopo with a flag down. Takes it for about
a touchdown.
Yeah, for a touchdown. He took it to the end zone, but there's a penalty marker down. Let's see what the call is here.
Looks like it might be another hold on. Nope, never mind.
It's against Lincoln Northeast.
Must have been an offsides or something. Something before the play. Because if it was something during the play, then Cassiopo would probably have another touchdown with about 8:20 to go in this first half.
So it'll be 1st and 5 at the 15 as there was a pre-snap penalty. Parker Lizey's going to take it himself around the edge, and he gets inside the 10 with the Junior Jays first down. So gain of 6 for Lizey, and it'll be 1st and goal from the 9. 8:15 to go in the second quarter.
And Prep right now definitely doing a good job of showing who's going to be able to take over for all the seniors that are leaving next year. Meisenberg's going to be leaving. Cassiopo's going to be leaving. Bullock is going to be leaving, but they appear to have some very talented backups who will be able to step up next year.
So 1st and goal at the 9. Cassiopo still the running back. Lizey's going to take it again, and he's got a Creighton Prep touchdown from 9 yards out. So Lizey with a passing touchdown and now a rushing touchdown, and it's 34-0 Creighton Prep.
And Lizey showing why there was a quarterback controversy at the beginning of the year. He's shown talent with his arm and with his legs, and now this Prep offense is basically just I think they might be letting the players call the plays at some point, because it just looks like everyone's having a great time except for Lincoln Northeast.
Yeah, end of this game can't come soon enough for the Rockets. It's going to be a long bus ride back home to Lincoln if the score continues to go the way it's gone so far. Here's the kick, and it is good from the backup kicker, Luke Fenton, the junior. So it's 35-0 Creighton Prep. Jack Piernicki was in on the hold as well, so the Junior Jays getting their backups in at all positions.
Yep.
And they lead 35-0 with 8:02 to go until halftime.
And this could turn out huge for how Prep performs in the playoffs, because what this is basically turning into is just a hard practice for the starters based on how much time they've actually spent on the football field. So they might be a little healthier than some other players and some other teams going into the playoffs, and that could be huge if it comes down to a close fourth quarter.
Junior Jays with a 35-0 lead as Pat Foley set to kick it off. All of his kicks so far have ended up going between the goal line and the 5-yard line. See where this one goes, going in the other direction now, and he booms this one all the way into the end zone for a touchback. So
a little too excited after missing the extra point. Had a bit too much leg power left.
Yeah, so Lincoln Northeast will start at their own 20 with 1st and 10, and we'll see if they keep going with the same guys on offense. They've kept all of their starters in to this point. Junior Jays have, of course, been rolling through the backups on both sides of the ball, but it does look like Lincoln Northeast will continue to go with the starters here on 1st and 10, trailing by 35.
And we saw Collier there last drive, Jeremiah Collier for Lincoln Northeast. We saw him perform pretty well. Let's see if he can do it again.
Collier keeps himself on 1st down and cuts it back to the inside for a gain of about 4. As again, some pushing and heavy tackling there late from Creighton Prep, as Collier got pushed all the way back to the 20, but forward progress puts him at the 24, 2nd and 6 coming up.
And Collier, a nice read option play there. You mentioned that his passing had kind of struggled so far this season, but his run game appears to be going very well. looks like another one of those option quarterbacks that Millard West threw at prep. Very tall and speedy, able to maybe break some tackles too.
Collier going to air one out, and it's incomplete. Incomplete. Maybe hearing the footsteps there was Martrevius Gray, the wide receiver, as there were prep safeties lurking just across midfield there and went right through the hands, maybe a bit out of the reach there for Gray.
And when you're down in a game like this, one thing you can't do is get alligator arms as a receiver across the middle. And obviously Prep's been hitting hard and continuing to tackle, maybe after the play's already dead, all game long. But that play could have been huge for Lincoln Northeast, maybe even a turning point for their offense, and it's an incomplete.
Handoff on third down is going to end up a yard shy of the first down. It'll bring up 4th and 1. And we'll see what the Rockets go with here. Gain of 5 there. It'll be 4th down. A.J. Collins was in on the stop for Creighton Prep.
And the Prep defense definitely still treating this like they're the team down 35-0. They're playing with a hunger that we just haven't seen either side of the ball for Lincoln Northeast play with.
4th and 1. Offense still out on the field for Northeast. And just plowing forward for the first down is Collier. And the chains will move for the Rockets. Gain of 3 on the play, taking it to the 32.
And Collier doing a great job of running the read option and finding the holes. Looked a little bit like another number 2 quarterback who ran the read option, Cam Newton at Auburn. But he's been performing well. Unfortunately, he's been about the only bright spot for Lincoln Northeast.
1st and 10 at the 32. Handed off to Ivan Elume, and that's going to lose a couple of yards at the 30. So the Junior Jays, after getting run on just a bit by Northeast with success, get a stop for a loss. So it'll be 2nd and 12 from the 30.
And the Prep defensive line just continues to assert their will. They helped turn the tide against Millard West. They helped shut down North Platte, and it looks like they're just completely shutting down Lincoln Northeast so far this game.
So it'll be 2nd and 12. Northeast's success really only has been found in the quarterback runs with Jeremiah Collier. He's going to hand it off again, and there's some space on the outside there, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. Gain of 2 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and 10.
And Prep again using their defensive speed to avoid big plays for Lincoln Northeast. The run game, as you've mentioned, except for the quarterback, has just been struggling. And that's because of Prep just swarming to the ball and making tackles.
So it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 32. 5:10 to play in the first half. Creighton Prep leading 35-0. And trying to get a stop here on 3rd and 10. Collier moves right, getting good blocks from the right side. He's going to fire deep downfield. There's all kinds of traffic, and it's incomplete, as that was thrown into double, maybe triple coverage intended for Josh Platter, the running back, and it's going to be 4th and 10.
And Toby Okafor, Michael Barrett, and Jack Kirkwood were all in the area. And, again, the Prep defense just see ball, go to ball right now, and that's working out very well for them. Lincoln Northeast still struggling to get anything going. Only the 3rd time all game they made it past their own 30. And it will result in another punt.
Isaiah Ramirez will punt to Pierce Johnson. Pierce Johnson returned his last one for a touchdown, but it got called back for a Creighton Prep penalty. This punt will be returnable again. Johnson from the 36. You know he's hungry for another one as he's able to get across midfield. Johnson with another nice return as he's all the way inside the 40. So Creighton Prep in position to score again. They'll have 1st and 10 at the Northeast 39.
And last return, Johnson, the sophomore, showed his speed. And that time, he showed his shiftiness there. He was able to bounce off one of his own guys to keep running, but he waited for space to open, and then he just ran right through it. A nice return there for Pierce Johnson.
So 4:44 to go until halftime. It's Prep 35, Lincoln Northeast nothing. And the Junior Jays will start with excellent field position at the Rockets' 39-yard line, and Meisenberg is back in at quarterback for Creighton Prep. Carson Bartak is the running back. 1st and 10. Meisenberg dropped the ball as he was trying to hand off, and it looks like
it might be Lincoln
it
Northeast.
looks like a clear-cut recovery for Lincoln Northeast, and it is a fumble recovery for the Rockets. So Creighton Prep gives it right back, as that was a very, very long handoff between Meisenberg and Bartak, and eventually the ball popped out and right into the hands of a Rockets defender at the 38.
And that's something that you want to avoid, because I think one of the main reasons that it happened was because of the lack of chemistry. Like, obviously Meisenberg spent a lot of time with Cassiopo or with Stessman in the starting lineups, making sure that he knows how they like their handoffs, maybe when to hand it off to him and when not to. But with Bartak, he doesn't have as much experience with him.
Screen pass on first down as Gary is pulled back for a gain of about 2 yards, as there was not a whole lot of space to work with. It'll be 2nd and 8, as it looked like Trey Olden was in on the stop.
And an incredible play there by Trey Olden, the linebacker. Looked like they were putting 2 blockers on him, and he was still able to rip through and just force Gary backwards and hold him to only a gain of 2.
2nd and 8 from the 40. 4 minutes to go until halftime. Handoff to Gary this time, and he shows some nice shiftiness, taking it to the 45, spinning and darting through a couple would-be tacklers and picking up about 4.5. So that will bring up 3rd and medium. Looks like 3rd and about 3.5 for the Rockets.
And the fumble by Prep could set up some nice momentum for Lincoln Northeast. A conversion here would really help them, because that basically put them past midfield.
Collier in trouble, being chased out to his right, and he's going to go down in the backfield for a sack, as he was taken down at the 40-yard line for a loss of about 4.5 there, and it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, it was Joe Keeney, the junior, with the sack, but also give credit to number 45 for Prep, Tony Melitti, came rushing around the edge basically unblocked, as he has been so many times this game, and Collier saw him and had to scramble. Only issue was he scrambled right into Keeney.
So it'll be 4th down. Lincoln Northeast has already taken a couple delay of game penalties when in punt formation tonight, and a lot of standing around here before this 4th down.
Looks like there's some talking with the officials.
Yeah.
Possibly a timeout call. Yep. A timeout to Lincoln Northeast with 2:51 to go in this first half. It's been quite literally all Creighton Prep so far. The score is 35-0.
Yep, so we'll see if Northeast decides to go for it on this 4th down coming out of the timeout break. Looking ahead, Creighton Prep next Thursday night, they have their homecoming game against Papillion La Vista South. So back-to-back home games for the Junior Jays with Lincoln Northeast and Papio South, and it sure does look like they'll be going into that game with a whole lot of momentum after tonight's excellent performance, at least so far.
Yeah, we'll be calling that game, and I mentioned this earlier, but that 4th quarter against Millard West, that seemed to have flipped a switch. Prep went from a state playoff team that might win a round to a state playoff team that could contend for a semifinal or final spot.
So 4th and 8, Northeast is going to go for it again. They have really committed to staying aggressive despite being down by a whole lot on the scoreboard. 4th and 8 from the 40, nearly a jump from Creighton Prep. Collier in the pistol formation with Xavier Gary in the backfield.
It's a deep pistol, too.
Now Gary shifts to the shotgun. And Collier will roll to his right. He's made a couple nice throws on the run tonight. Looks to make another one, but it's incomplete. It was a nice little sidearm, but broken up there defensively by Hayden Stessman. Pass was intended for Tavarius Hines, but incomplete. Creighton Prep will take over at the 40.
And some more nice penetration by Prep. The offensive line probably isn't having a good game if we're able to talk about how good Collier's been on the run basically every drive, because he's just been running for his life back there against that Prep defensive line. And he's been trying his best, but it just hasn't been enough.
Man, he's got to be tired because he plays defense too. He's lined up on the edge of the defensive line here for 1st and 10. So Collier getting a lot of work tonight, a lot of calisthenics, as Meisenberg looks to float one downfield and making a great adjustment to the ball at the 13-yard line there for the catch is Alex Bullock. And that's a big gain for Creighton Prep, about 28 yards and a 1st down.
And those two are just on a different wavelength. You mentioned in the pregame how Bullock just has the majority of Prep's yards, catches, yards, and touchdowns. And that shows why there. Meisenberg trusts him, and he's able to make the great adjustments like that to hold on to the ball.
1st and 10. Carson Bartak is going to drag his way down to about the 7 for a pickup of 5 yards. And that'll bring up 2nd and 5, just under 2.5 to play in the first half, as Creighton Prep continues to give everybody opportunities to touch the football here, up by 35. And there's a timeout for an injured player here for Lincoln Northeast. So we will take a break and be right back.
Nice man for Bryce Louie.
All right, we're back at Creighton Prep. Bryce Elume was the injured Lincoln Northeast Rocket, but he got up fairly quickly, so a good sign there. Hopefully everything's all right with him. 2nd and 5 for Prep as Meisenberg hands off, and going right into the end zone for the touchdown is Charmar Brown, and Creighton Prep extends the lead. Brown with a rushing touchdown, and it's now 41-0 with 2:18 to go in the first half.
And just some incredible performances by Prep on the ground. Egan's got a rushing touchdown. Brown just scored. Cassiopo and Lysey's got a touchdown. That's 4 different players running into the end zone for Creighton Prep. And it doesn't look like they're going to let up anytime soon with 2:18 to go in this first half. Could take a 42-0 lead.
Luke Fenton will come on for a second extra point try. And oh boy, low line drive is no good as it goes right under the crossbar. Had plenty of exit velocity, but not the launch angle. And the junior backup kicker is no good, and the score remains 41-0.
Yep. And that's why the backups get reps in games like this, because stuff like that is easily fixable if you know it's a problem. But if you don't find out it's a problem until it's a game where you need a field goal, like say you're the Chicago Bears, then you might be in trouble.
Yeah, you'd hate to see something like that on a 30-yard field goal to force overtime or win a game. But just get those wrinkles out now, give the backups plenty of playing time, and backups have played well so far.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they've really looked good. They're picking up right where the starters left off and dominating this Lincoln Northeast team.
And speaking of the Bears, congratulations on beating Buccaneers last night, moving to 3-1. Tom Brady forgot how to count.
Yeah.
Always good to see for NFL fans who never like the Patriots.
So Luke Fenton will handle the kickoff duties as well. This will be his first kickoff of the night, and a low line drive kick is just fine here.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if he elects to go with the punch or the high flop kick or just the regular kick here.
You mentioned the exit velocity on his extra point miss, and that's what you want on a kickoff is a lot of exit velocity, and he got that there.
There's another rocket, and that's going to bound right in the end zone for a touchback. So Fenton putting plenty of power behind his kicks. And finally, Lincoln Northeast will start after a touchback at their own 20-yard line with 1st and 10. 2:18 to go in the first half. Looks like Jeremiah Collier will continue to be the quarterback for the Rockets. He's been pretty good tonight aside from the one interception, but he's done a lot with his legs, getting outside of the pocket, evading the pass rush. But this Creighton Prep defense has just been far too much for the Rockets, particularly their offensive line, to handle.
And he's made a couple of iffy throws that probably shouldn't have been made, but when you've got that quick Prep defensive line bearing down on you, your decision-making probably goes out the window very fast. But he's played well.
1st and 10, looking to throw, going to fire toward the sideline. That's nearly intercepted. Jonah Moore undercut the route as the pass was intended for James Moorhead Jr., but incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
And Collier showing some of his arm power there. And that might be part of the reason he's thrown so many picks, is he might trust his arm a little too much. We see that a lot with some different quarterbacks, like Brett Favre was notable for that, thinking that they could fit the ball in anywhere and then not being able to. But not a bad decision by Collier, just didn't work out the way he wanted it to, 2nd and 10.
Yep, and Jonah Moore's been making plenty of great defensive plays tonight, as have the rest of his teammates. Another one there. So it'll be 2nd and 10 as Xavier Gary, the running back, is lined up in the slot, but we got a whistle and a timeout called by Lincoln Northeast. That's their second of the half. So 2:14 to go in the first half. Still a 41-0 ball game, and Lincoln Northeast will talk things over ahead of this 2nd and 10.
And Prep we've already seen the best probably quarter in Prep history with that 29-0 win. Well, 29-0 fourth quarter against Millard West and 29-26 win. This might be the best pure half of football I've seen this team play. I couldn't really recall any mistakes that they've made. They've allowed a couple of big plays, but they've more than made up for it by getting defensive stops. And we might be facing another 3rd down and long for Lincoln Northeast if Prep can get in the backfield again.
They've got 2nd and 10. The Rockets do at their own 20-yard line. It is a handoff to Xavier Gary, and Prep does get into the backfield and pushes Gary back for no gain. And it'll be 3rd and 10, maybe 9. I think they did give him a yard on the carry. But 3rd and long coming up again for the Rockets. That middle part of that Prep defensive line, as they have for the past several weeks now, continues to play well.
And we keep seeing just how badly Prep wants it. Gary's still getting pushed backwards.
Well, that was a blown-up play there as Collier tried to roll right and then misdirect the Prep defense by handing the ball off. And we've got another Lincoln Northeast player down. So not only does the running back lose 7 yards, but also suffers an apparent injury, and I believe that's Xavier Gray. Hard to tell from here, but we already highlighted the fact that Mason Hoke is not playing tonight, the number 1 wide receiver. Now, if that is Xavier Gary down on the field, their number 1 running back could be out too. So we hope he is okay. Another injured player for Northeast.
And an interesting play call there by Lincoln Northeast. Not necessarily a bad play call. That would work against most defenses with the misdirection, with the quarterback rolling one way and then pitching it to a guy running the other way. It's basically the same fundamental philosophy as a reverse. The only issue was Prep just had too many guys in the backfield for that play to end up working.
And that is Xavier Gary. It looks like a lower body injury of sorts as he's limping pretty heavily coming off the field. But fortunately, another Rockets injured player back to his feet quickly and walking off on their own power. So
Prep will now take over inside the red zone, inside the 15, as a matter of fact, of Lincoln Northeast with...
Well, not yet. It's 4th and 18.
Oh, that was 3rd down?
Yeah, that was 3rd down.
Oh, I'm Tom Brady. Look at me.
Yeah, no kidding. So 4th and 18, and I don't think Lincoln Northeast can go for it here. They've been going for it every time on 4th downs so far, but now they're going to bring the punting team on with Isaiah Ramirez. He will kick to Pierce Johnson, who's had a couple nice returns tonight.
And the question, if you're Prep, is do you just sit on the ball for the first half? Because I'm pretty sure they've made their point as to who the better team is.
Well, this is a good punt. Getting plenty of roll once again for Ramirez. So he's gotten all kinds of friendly bounces tonight. And this will be downed at the Prep 43. So that's where the Junior Jays will begin. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the game is not competitive anymore, but it's always interesting to see who Prep brings out on offense as far as personnel goes. So,
I mean, last drive, Meisenberg threw a pass to Bullock like 20, 25 yards downfield. Like, game wasn't competitive then either, but Prep just, like when I talked with the offensive coordinator.
Jack Pernicke is in at quarterback now for Creighton Prep. So the junior third-string quarterback, Jack Pernicke, the quarterback now for Creighton Prep. Quick pass to the outside is caught by A.J. Collins. Nice stutter step to get to the outside and some physical running as well to get close to a first down. I believe he's got one at the Lincoln Northeast 46, so a good start for the junior Pernicke.
Yep, and I was talking with the offensive coordinator for Prep, T.J. Fife, a couple weeks ago on how the football team having to quarantine affected them, both himself as a teacher and himself as a coach. and he said that they used the time in quarantine to kind of streamline their play calling, to figure out what worked, what didn't, and go with what worked. And Prep appears to have found a lot that's working right for them.
Flag down before the snap, and it is against Lincoln Northeast.
Another pre-snap penalty.
So that will march the ball 5 yards closer to the Rockets' end zone and give Prep 1st and 5 at the Lincoln Northeast 40-yard line. Clock has 42 seconds remaining in the first half. Pernicke takes it himself. He's got plenty of height, and he's running over defenders at the 31-yard line, gain of 9 yards and another first down. So Pernicke off to a nice start, seeing his first action of the season.
And Pernicke, Ravens fan, I've seen him wearing a Ravens sweatshirt a couple times, maybe trying to emulate Lamar Jackson a bit there.
Yeah. He's going to hand off here to Bartak, and that will get about 3. Prep in no hurry here, just letting the clock wind down. We should go to halftime here after this play, and it does look like both of these two teams are ready to, well, no, it looks like Prep wants to take maybe one more snap here. They're going to have to hurry, though, and
they won't get it off.
That'll do it. First half is in the books, and what an impressive first half it was for the Junior Jays. 41-0 over Lincoln Northeast after 24 minutes of play.
Yep.
So we've seen impressive stuff from the starters to get the night going, and then the backups picking up where they left off. And plenty of smiles tonight for the Junior Jays and their fans. The student section is still pretty full.
Yep.
Considering that it's only seniors, but a lot to be excited about still for Creighton Prep, leading 41-0 here at halftime.
And a lot of positives here, both for this game, this season, and for the future. We've seen the starters and the backups playing out of their minds against an admittedly weaker team, but a blowout here really is impressive, because last year there would be times when Prep would struggle against teams of lower quality, but not this time.
All right, so with Creighton Prep blowing the doors off of Lincoln Northeast, let's take a look at some of the scores around Class A, or some of the matchups around Class A. Last night, Fremont went down to Buell Stadium to take on third-ranked Millard South, and Fremont played with Millard South competitively for a while, but eventually the Patriots pulled away and won the game by a score of 41-17. Top-ranked Omaha Westside continues to travel a lot. They've played in Grand Island this season. They've played in Kearney this season, and this week they go to Norfolk to take on the 1-5 team. Pies the 10th taking on Columbus tonight. Grand Island is against Millard North, 9th-ranked Millard North. 5th-ranked Lincoln Southeast going on the road to Bellevue East. Top 10 matchup, best matchup of the week in Class A, 4th-ranked Elkhorn South, 7th-ranked Gretna, and then Kearney and Lincoln High. Millard West taking on 2nd-ranked Bellevue West. So Millard West, after giving up the big comeback to Creighton Prep and then losing to Lincoln East at home last week, things only get tougher as they take on the 2nd-ranked team in the state. And then Papillion La Vista at Lincoln Southwest, and 10th-ranked North Platte and 8th-ranked Lincoln East in the second top 10 matchup this week. So we will be back to start the second half. Creighton Prep leads it 41-0 over Lincoln Northeast. Welcome back to Westside High School at Phelps Field. 6th-ranked Creighton Prep taking on Lincoln Northeast and beating the heck out of them. The score is 41-0 here as we get set for the second half. Tyler Reedy along with Brendan Preisman. And Brendan, we've gotten a chance to see basically everybody on this Creighton Prep team. I want to ask you, who stood out to you from the backups that we could see for future years?
Well, I'm not sure if it really counted as a backup, but Vinny Cassiopo on that touchdown run stood out to me. But for backups that could take bigger roles next year, I think Parker Lizzie and Aiden Morey were two of the ones that really stood out to me. Morey, we saw in that jet sweep nearly take one all the way before being run down from behind, but he looked fast, he looked good. Lizzie obviously hasn't played for a bit, but he looked very good on his touchdown drives, and the punt returner, whose name I'm
Pierce
blanking
Johnson.
on. Pierce Johnson, yeah, he looked incredible. And once Bullock leaves, he'll be able to step into that role full time, and he'll make a lot of Prep drives very easy on the offense.
Yeah, everybody getting involved, everybody contributing for Prep in this blowout game. Nearing the kickoff to start the second half, we've also seen Luke Fenton take some snaps at kicker. He's kicked a couple extra points, made one, missed one. He's done some kickoffs as well. But Creighton Prep leading by 41, actually 3 minutes remaining until the second half. But we will have a running clock in the second half with the score being what it is. So looking forward for Creighton Prep the rest of the year. They take on Papillion La Vista South, an unranked team, for homecoming next week. And then they go to Lincoln East, 8th-ranked Lincoln East, to close out the season. Top 8 teams get a first-round bye in the playoffs. The next 8 teams, 9 through 16, get a home game, but they play in sort of a wild card round. And then 17 through 24 end up playing on the road in that wild card round. So Creighton Prep, if they can just keep rolling the way they are, they could get a first-round bye, or at the very least a home game for sure.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's going to be important for Prep is if they keep playing like this, they're going to be able to get like a top 4 slot, I think. So the important thing would be to make sure they've got not one, but multiple home games, because obviously the slightly lesser home crowd hasn't been making a difference so far, but in a playoff atmosphere, a home crowd could help make the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, who knows, in the coming weeks, situation could improve with COVID-19. More fans could be let in, more students. So we've got the seniors in right now, a good amount of them sticking around in the birdcage for Creighton Prep right now, but Junior J's up by 41, about set to kick it off. Lincoln Northeast will get the football to start the second half. So if they do keep their starters in, who have you been impressed by from them so far? Who's been the silver lining in this loss?
Definitely the quarterback, Collier. He's just been incredible. He's had to run from a whole bunch of pressure from the Prep defensive line, but he's been able to, for the most part, avoid sacks and avoid bad throws. He did have one pick in the first quarter, but he's bounced back from that pretty admirably. And the only problem is he's really got nobody to block for him and nobody to throw it to, especially with Xavier Gary. We're still not sure on his injury status, whether he'll return. So that could just be another blow to a Lincoln Northeast offense that has already definitely been struggling.
Yeah, they need as much as they can get facing off against a fired-up, re-energized Creighton Prep defense and re-energized Creighton Prep team as a whole. The last 2 weeks, they've really picked up some momentum, and they are carrying it into tonight and performing extremely well. So Luke Fenton will kick off once again as Creighton Prep continues to employ many of their backups here in this blowout.
It's going to be interesting to see how many reps Jack Piernicki, the junior, is going to get, because we saw him run the last drive for Prep before halftime. He might get the entire fourth quarter at this rate.
Yeah. Low line drive kick will be taken from the 3-yard line, crossing the 15, and another nice job by Creighton Prep special teams unit. As there's they tackling their Gio Arizola was on the kick return, and he takes it to about the 18-yard line. So Creighton Prep special teams has been excellent tonight. Every time Lincoln Northeast has tried a kick return, they've been stopped short of the 20. And they'll start at the 18 here, 1st and 10. Jeremiah Collier still the quarterback. He's taken every single snap tonight, despite the score being what it is.
Yeah, he's definitely been performing quite well. And the kick returner, I believe he was one of those running backs that got injured earlier for Lincoln Northeast. So that bodes well for them. If he's already back, maybe Xavier Gary could come back before the end of this third quarter.
Well, a common theme of the first half was pre-snap penalties against Lincoln Northeast, and we got another one here to start half number 2. as false starts have just been piling up throughout the night. We've seen delay of games and false starts on punt formations. Discipline has been an issue for Lincoln Northeast, and only hurting their cause tonight against a very talented prep team.
They've basically been stuck in reverse the entire game, just based on what the prep defense is doing to them. The penalties are just digging them deeper into that hole.
Play fake, nice pump fake, but an inaccurate throw as it's errant and high over the head of Martrevius Gray, the wide receiver, incomplete. So Collier's made some nice throws tonight, but high throws, low throws, he's been off the mark on several of them, and that's the reason why he's thrown as many interceptions as he's thrown this year, and continuing to struggle in that area at various points tonight.
And we've seen a couple of near misses too. Some Collier's fault, some just some of the receivers' fault, some a mixture of both. But he's definitely been struggling to get the ball deep downfield against this incredible prep defense.
2nd and 15. Fake the jet sweep. Collier goes right up the middle, but there's not much to be had there. Maybe a yard's gain on the play there, as the tackle was made right in the middle by Ryan Carney, who had that 61-yard go-ahead fumble return touchdown to cap off the comeback win over Millard West 2 weeks ago. So Carney in on the stop there. There won't be any need for heroics tonight for Creighton Prep, but 3rd and 13 coming up for Lincoln Northeast.
Yet another 3rd and long. I'm not sure what the official tally is on 3rd downs that are longer than 10 yards for Lincoln Northeast, but it's got to be at least 6.
3rd and 14. Collier, there's all kinds of pressure right in his face. He's able to get away from one, but not the second, and he goes down at the 10 as the sack was made there by number 66. Or Sam Sledge was actually in there, it sounds like. So it'll be 4th down, another punt coming up for Isaiah Ramirez. And Pierce Johnson, who's been an electrifying returner tonight for Creighton Prep, will have another opportunity to give his team good field position.
And Sam Sledge, one of those guys last year who made varsity as a freshman and got a couple of snaps in at tight end. Sophomore this year, and it looks like he's going to get a lot more playing time in the future if he keeps playing like that.
Returnable punt taken from the 43. Johnson gets a running start, tries to take it to the outside. There goes Pierce Johnson. He's got one man to beat. Goodbye. Touchdown Creighton Prep as Pierce Johnson takes the punt return to the house. But there's another flag, though.
Oh, boy. What a surprise.
Pierce Johnson has already had one punt return touchdown called back for penalty. And you got to give this man a break if this is another one.
It certainly appears it is. Some great blocking by Carson Bartak on the punter to finish off that touchdown. But yet again, we've got a touchdown for Pierce Johnson taken back by a holding call. And at this point, he's got to be looking at his blockers like, guys, I don't even need this.
I mean, normally we talk about a guy taking his blockers out for a steak dinner if they do him well, but I think the blockers might have to take Pierce Johnson out for a steak dinner tonight because they have taken 2 of his punt return touchdowns off the board. They've been impressive returns, too. Handoff on 1st and 10, and some nice running from Jack Stessman. He's going to go the distance. 40-yard touchdown for Creighton Prep as Stessman continues to build on his momentum and builds on the Creighton Prep lead. It's now 47-0.
And Stessman on a hot streak now this year. We first saw it against Millard West with that long 33-yard run in the 4th quarter. And then, casual 247 yards, 2 scores against North Platte. Outrushing the entire other team. And hot streak continues for him. He hasn't taken a lot of snaps tonight, mostly because he hasn't had to. But the snaps he has had, he's taken and made some good things out of them.
Luke Fenton on for the extra point. He's 1 for 2 on extra points tonight. Made one and missed one low. His 3rd attempt is up and no good. Looked like he might have missed it maybe to the right there, but Fenton's extra point no good, and it's 47-0 as Fenton has gone 1 for 3 now on the night, kicking PATs.
And last time, the problem with Fenton's kick was that it was just too low. And he definitely fixed it that time. Kick was plenty high, just didn't quite get the accuracy he needed. And with 8:35 to go in this 3rd quarter, Prep is just continuing to impose their will on this Lincoln Northeast team, which looks hopeless to do anything to stop them.
Now keep in mind the clock is running regardless of incompletions or players going out of bounds. So the clock will be running here in the second half with the score being what it is. So we won't keep you up too late past your bedtime tonight with this blowout game. But Prep will kick it away. Looks like Luke Fenton's going to have another chance to kick one off. He's getting plenty of reps tonight at the kicker spot. Still haven't seen Xavier Gary, the Lincoln Northeast running back who got injured toward the end of that first half. Haven't seen him back out onto the field yet. He normally handles the kick return duties, but he is not present, standing back near the goal line here for this one.
And adding really insult to injury for Lincoln Southeast, a game that was already over and that Gary probably didn't need to be in for at that point. If that turns out to be a long-term injury, a pretty bad season for this team could turn even worse.
Fenton's kick, low line drive, but there's a whistle. There's a whistle before the kick. And it looks like they'll have to re-kick as there's a flag down at the 41 of Creighton Prep.
Might be a little over-eager on the kickoff team to get down there and hit somebody. And the ball will be moved back.
Yeah, and going back to the Xavier Gary injury, he's standing on the sideline at about the 37-yard line of Lincoln Northeast. Looks like he's got ice on his right ankle or right foot, and he's taken all of his gear off, so he won't be back for the rest of the night.
And that really puts into perspective the night that Lincoln Northeast has had. It's going to be a very long bus ride back.
Yeah, and they've got two teams that have been or are in the top 10 waiting for the remainder of the schedule for them. And, you know, they could finish out the season 0-9 if they don't turn things around in a hurry. Here's the kick return, and this is going to be taken to about the 21, 22-yard line there by Gio Arizola again. So he's filled in for Gary in the kick return duties. And Lincoln Northeast will have its best field position off a kick return tonight, starting at their own 22.
And Arizola was injured earlier in this game as well, but he's come back. Looked like Gary's injury was a little more severe, though. So maybe Arizola will be able to take over in the running game for Lincoln Northeast and maybe get them some sort of positive plays this game.
7:50 and counting remaining in the third quarter, as it's a handoff on first down, and a big hit is made there right in the middle. As getting blown up there was Laurent Gozo. In on the stop for Creighton Prep was Sam Rodino, number 21, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
And Rodino, the player who got the interception earlier, he's been flying all around the field trying to prove himself, prove he deserves a spot in the starting lineups, and so far I think he has.
Handed off to Gray. Dylan Gray on second down picks up maybe a yard as the Creighton Prep run defense does well again and forces Lincoln Northeast into another 3rd and long. They'll have 3rd and about 9 here. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter with the clock continuing to roll. Prep defense has been good on 3rd downs tonight, especially because they forced Lincoln Northeast into a lot of 3rd and long situations, made it extremely difficult to convert. 3rd and 9, Collier's pressured, able to get it out at the last second, but that's not going anywhere for Dylan Gray. He only gets a yard on the play as Creighton Prep's secondary covers him well, and the pass rush gets to the quarterback well and forces Northeast into a 4th down situation.
Yeah, William Sengstick, the senior outside linebacker, making a nice tackle there. And the Prep defensive line is really just doing whatever they want to this Lincoln Northeast offensive line. They kind of look like Khalil Mack at some point did last night, where he was just imposing his will and getting to the quarterback whenever he wanted. That's what Prep's defensive line looks like, except they're doing it consistently. Almost every single play, there's pressure.
Isaiah Ramirez's punt is going to bounce. Oh, it stays in bounds. So once again, fortune favors Isaiah Ramirez, and the roll goes to the 39 of Creighton Prep, and that is where the Junior Jays will begin with 5:55 and counting remaining in the third quarter. Junior Jays up by 47, and we'll see who the quarterback is here in the second half. Looks like Parker Lisey is going to come in at the QB spot for the Junior Jays.
And it looks like some of those rolls for Lincoln Northeast punter, what was his name again?
Isaiah Ramirez.
Isaiah Ramirez. Some of them might be down to the way he kicks, because it looks like he kicks it with a spiral instead of end over end. and that might have an effect on the ball when it hits the ground.
Lizzie hands off on first down. Carson Bartak explodes right through the middle, and you can kiss him goodbye for another Creighton Prep touchdown. So back-to-back plays for the Junior Jays with 40-plus yard rushing touchdowns as Bartak finds pay dirt, and it's 53-0.
And the Prep run game has really just hit a completely different gear. If the North Platte game was like going from first gear to fourth gear, this is like going from fourth gear to 10th gear.
Yep, so Vinny Cassiopo had a 42-yard rushing touchdown. Jack Stessman had a 40-yard rushing touchdown. And then a 61-yard rushing touchdown from Carson Bartak. So it's like Oprah Winfrey out here. You get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. And
everybody gets a touchdown.
Luke Fenton will try the extra point, and this one's good. So it's 54-0 Creighton Prep with 5:15 to go in the third quarter.
And those score predictions that I had, I remember I said 42-7, and I thought, oh, that might be a little harsh.
Yeah.
That might be a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
54-0 with 5:15 to go in this third quarter. And the Prep run game has just been incredible. And credit to the offensive line, too. They've done their jobs well. And the Prep running backs, whoever they are, have just had such big holes to run through that it's looked almost easy for them.
Yeah.
It seems like the Prep runner gets to the second level, or at the very least, the linebackers on every run. And that's because of all the great work that the line's doing. And the Prep run game has really turned from a weak point of the offense to basically the bread and butter in a span of about a month.
Yeah, and give credit to the wide receivers as well on the outside for those big runs to occur. You obviously have to have good blocking down the field and on the perimeter, and that's exactly what's taken place. So the Junior Jays lead 54-0 with 5:15 to go in the third quarter as Prep continues to prove themselves that they should firmly be within the top 10, maybe even in the top 5. But we'll see what happens. I can't wait for that Lincoln East game to close out the season. Prep taking on a top 10 team again, getting a good challenge.
And that'll really be a showcase of how good Prep actually is.
A little bit of trickeration there on the kick return as there was a handoff at about the 10-yard line. Doesn't amount to much for Lincoln Northeast as they will start at their own 18 with 1st and 10 as Martravius Gray got the football after the handoff. And Lincoln Northeast will start at their own 19-yard line with 1st and 10.
Because that game against Lincoln East, it's going to be Prep's first time that they're playing a team roughly at or above their talent level since probably Millard West. And that's going to be probably a showcase of how well they'll do in the playoffs. Will they be able to make it to the semifinals, or are games against teams of their talent level going to be tough?
Quick pass from Collier is in and out of the hands of Travarius Hines, the intended wide receiver. Looked like that pass might have surprised him just a bit. And it's incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up. 4:21 remaining in the third quarter. Clock running. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 19. Shotgun formation for Collier. And he keeps it himself, and he goes down immediately in the backfield. Nice defensive play there made by Mick Tabor, the senior outside linebacker, for a loss. As the Creighton Prep front 7 continues to dominate, and they force Lincoln Northeast into yet another 3rd and long. They'll need to get 12 yards.
The Prep defensive line is, and just the Prep defense as a whole, is basically everywhere that Lincoln Northeast tries to go. Collier tries for a deep pass. Oh, there's a couple blue jerseys right there. Jet sweep. Oh, look at that. Couple blue jerseys. Misdirection on the kickoff. Oh, look at that. Whole bunch of blue jerseys. They've just been everywhere on the field tonight. And they're the reason that Prep's put up 54 points on the scoreboard, because the offense has just had such an easy time of it.
3rd and 12. Collier going left, running into traffic and being taken down right at the line of scrimmage. So, once again, no room to work with for the Lincoln Northeast quarterback as the Prep edge rushers do their job again and get home. No gain on the play. It'll be 4th and 12 and a punt coming up for Lincoln Northeast.
And another great play by the defense. They're just so good at swarming to the ball and making sure that the ball carrier can't escape and break it outside.
So Isaiah Ramirez will punt to Pierce Johnson, the sophomore, who has had 2 punt return touchdowns called back for penalties tonight.
They've stopped kicking to him, I think.
This is going to bounce. Johnson is just going to walk away, and again, the bounce will favor Isaiah Ramirez and be down at the 38, 39-yard line of Creighton Prep. So, man, we might have to look into what you mentioned about that punting style of the spiral instead of the end over end for Isaiah Ramirez, because he's getting the bounce every single time tonight.
And I think one of the other reasons that the punts are going so far is Ramirez isn't risking kicking the ball to Pierce Johnson anymore, which is very sensible. He's basically scored twice on punt returns. So Ramirez, another one of those bright spots for Lincoln Northeast that is sorely needed in a game like this.
Jack Pernicke back in the game at quarterback for Creighton Prep. Charmar Brown is the running back. Under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Trey Olden goes in motion. He gets the pitch.
Ooh.
Little cutback move. Olden trying to find some space and staying on his feet. Trey Olden refuses to go down and picks up about 3 yards. So extremely tough running from the junior there. And that brings up 2nd and 7 from the 42 as a couple Lincoln Northeast defenders slow to get up.
An impressive play there by Olden. We saw him make a couple of tough plays on defense earlier, and there on offense, he just did not want to go down.
Pernicke keeps himself on 2nd and 7 and does a nice job darting right through the middle, putting defenders on the ground and taking it to the 43 of Lincoln Northeast. So Pernicke proving effective as a runner. He's got plenty of height, so hard to bring him down once he gets going. First down for Creighton Prep into Lincoln Northeast territory.
And this could make things really tough for Prep opponents in the future because they have no idea who to game plan against. Anybody in the Prep backfield could break off a 20, 25-yard run at any point in time.
Charmar Brown picks up 8 yards on first down. 2nd and 2 coming up from the 35 as Creighton Prep trying to hurry things up a little bit on offense here.
Cassiopo has come back in, it looks like, for number 13 for Prep.
Trey Olden.
Yeah, Trey Olden taking a breather after that tough run earlier, and Cassiopo back in. He's got 2 carries, one of them for a long touchdown. What can he do here?
2nd and 2 for Creighton Prep at the 35, I formation. Fake the toss, hand off to the fullback. That'll get a first down, so an interesting play design there as the carry goes to number 27, Kyle Munt, and it's a first down for Creighton Prep at the 30-yard line, gain of 5 on the play.
I mean, it works in Madden.
Yeah, it is one of the plays in Madden, you're right.
Isn't it like HB fake FB dive or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's fullback dive, fake halfback toss as the third quarter is in the books at Phelps Field. Creighton Prep leads Lincoln Northeast 54-0. Let's take a look at some of the score predictions our teachers at Creighton Prep went with, and right now they're all looking pretty darn good as Mr. Matt Delaney, geography teacher, said 52-7. He might have given Lincoln Northeast 7 too many points, as did Mr. Ewing and Mr. James Justice. Mr. Justice was 2-0 in score predictions going into this game, but not looking good for him. He said 35-7 Creighton Prep, and Prep has obviously exceeded that 35-point total by miles. Mr. Thompson predicted a shutout for Creighton Prep, 42-0. That shutout is up right now, but 42 points maybe not enough. So I think Mr. Matt Delaney, the geography teacher, is in the lead right now for Creighton Prep.
I mean, the question is, if this game continues to be a shutout, how much do you penalize Mr. Delaney for the 7 points?
It's true. But looks like Mr. James Justice is going to have to step off the podium for this week and cede his spot to most likely Mr. Delaney. So Creighton Prep will have it 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line, up 54-0 to start the fourth quarter. Quick screen pass to the outside is caught, and making a nice cut to the outside and getting the first down is the wide receiver Hayden Stessman. That takes it down to about the 17, gain of 13 on the play, and a move of the chains for the Jays.
And you mentioned Mr. Justice having to step off the podium. Creighton Prep, though, not stepping off the podium, not stepping off the gas pedal either.
No.
Still driving inside the red zone again.
Charmar Brown gets the carry, trying to navigate through some traffic, and he's able to get the first down, it looks like, on a gain of about 10. And Prep will have 1st and goal with a chance to put 60 up on the board here if they can punch it in, but we got whistles here.
And it appears
Officials timeout. Injured player, okay. Can't see where the injured player is.
looks like he might have gotten up.
Yeah.
Walking to the sidelines. There's a Lincoln Northeast player walking to the sidelines right now. Could have been him. He was just down for a little too long.
So here's first and goal at the 5 for Creighton Prep. I formation. Pernicke takes it himself, looking to find the end zone. He reaches out, and he's in. Touchdown, Junior Jays. Jack Pernicke with a rushing touchdown, and make it 60 for Creighton Prep with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, now you got to put Meisenberg in. He's the only quarterback without a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
I mean, maybe you should put Alex Bullock in at quarterback, and he can do practically everything else for you.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So 60-0 in favor of Creighton Prep. And
let Pat Foley run a series, maybe?
Pat Foley's going to be the holder here.
What?
Yeah, Pat Foley's holding, and Luke Fenton is kicking this extra point.
Watch the fake.
Fenton's kick is drilled, and it is good. So 61-0 Creighton Prep, 11:07 to go in the fourth quarter. So the Junior Jays running attack looking great again. We've seen long rushing touchdowns from all 3 of their top running backs, Jack Stessman, Vinny Cassiopo, Carson Bartak. We're seeing the quarterbacks get involved in the run game, especially with Jack Pernicke, the third stringer. And then Parker Lisey and Sam Meisenberg, of course, looking great through the air, as usual.
And, you know, one thing that really bodes well for Prep in the future is how well each of those quarterbacks are being able to run the Prep system, because it's a fairly, I don't want to say simplistic here because that could sound rude, but it's pretty easy to learn for a quarterback. And so far, Meisenberg, Lisey, and Piernicki have all executed it to perfection, basically. All of them, I think, all of them except for Piernicki have multiple scoring drives. And if Piernicki gets another drive, he'll probably make it. He'll probably score on that one as well.
Yeah, he's looked great. No doubt about it. And I tell you what, with the scoring that Creighton Prep is putting up, 61 already, I mean, can you imagine if the Prep football team has a higher amount of points in one game than the basketball team does? I mean, that's a possibility, quite honestly, with the score being what it is now.
It certainly is, and consider that there's
left.
still over 11 minutes to go. I know there's a running clock, but the way Prep's defense has been playing, they're guaranteed, I think, at least 2 more drives.
Yeah.
And even if they just, like, get the ball to start on, let's say, Lincoln Northeast 30, and they just kneel it, like, Pat Foley could hit that.
So Luke Fenton will kick it off. Nice line drive kick. It is going to be taken at the 1-yard line. And out across the 15-yard line. Looks like that is Caleb Clapper on the return. The sophomore gets about 19 yards, taking it to the 20-yard line, and that is where Lincoln Northeast will begin trailing by 61 with the clock running down close to 10.5 remaining.
And the Prep defense, the Prep kickoff unit doing another good job swarming the runner. They came down the field in a pretty loose formation, kind of like a half moon that was then able to surround the runner, so he had nowhere to go. And when you've got nowhere to go as a runner, eventually you're going to go down.
So 1st and 10 for Lincoln Northeast, and it looks like they've got a backup quarterback in. As it's a handoff here on 1st down, and churning forward for about 5 or 6 yards there is the running back Ivan Elume, and it'll be 2nd and 4 from the 26.
Yeah, that's Gio Arizola, it looks like, in at quarterback right now. Jeremiah Collier done about all he could do for this team, and taking a well-deserved break. And Lincoln Northeast, I think, at this point is just trying to get the buses warmed up.
Yep. 2nd and 4 at the 26. Going to be a long drive back down Interstate 80 tonight, no doubt about it. Here's a throw from Arizola, and it's too tall for the intended receiver, Jack Stewart, the tight end, incomplete. So 3rd and 4 coming up for Lincoln Northeast. 9:30 to play in the fourth quarter. The score 61-0 in favor of Creighton Prep.
And the Prep defense doing another good job there defending the pass, because most of the time a high throw can be chalked up to one of two things. Either there was a defender in the quarterback's face, or the quarterback had to make the throw high to avoid a pass breakup or an interception. On that play there, it was definitely the second one. Prep defense doing a great job in coverage.
Here's 3rd and 4 from the 26. Roll out left for Arizola. Now he's in trouble trying to throw at the last minute. Look out. Was it intercepted? I think it was. Somehow that went into the hands of one of the Prep defensive linemen. as Rocco Marcelino gets the takeaway for Creighton Prep. Not sure if they'll count that as a fumble or an interception, but either way, it's a turnover.
There were about 5 guys swarming Arizona, it looked like, and I mean, he felt what Collier probably felt at so many points during this game, just sheer unadulterated panic. What do I do? There's so many of them.
Yeah, so Prep will take over with an immediate red zone opportunity at the 17-yard line. Parker Lisey is back in at quarterback.
Let Pat Foley throw.
And Pierce Johnson is – no, that's not Pierce Johnson. That is Kyle Munt, the fullback. Thought I saw 23, but it's 27. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 17. Toss it here to the outside. Looking for some space. Getting inside the 10 is the running back, John Pargo, the sophomore. And that takes him to the 10, gain of 7 on the play. 2nd and 3 coming up.
And Prep, I mentioned this in the first quarterback when the scoring margin was still single digits. It looked like Prep was trying to do a good job of getting everybody out in space, and they continue to do that here with a nice toss play to Pargo, setting themselves up for yet another touchdown.
2nd and 3, Pargo again, this time straight up the middle, and it looks like he's got enough for the first down, getting to about the 6. Gain of 4 yards, and that'll make it 1st and goal for Creighton Prep with under 7.5 to play in the 4th quarter. So the Junior Jays on the verge of scoring yet another touchdown. It's just a question of who's going to score it. Just about everybody's got one tonight. Pargo, straight up the middle. Did he get to the end zone? I don't think so. He's about a half-yard shy. Nope, they give him the touchdown. So there's your answer.
John
Pargo with a 6-yard touchdown run. And that makes it 67-0 in favor of Creighton Prep with 7 minutes to go.
And the Prep running game just doing literally whatever they please. They're, I think, at this point, 5 or 6 deep in the depth chart, just letting basically whoever's wearing a uniform go out there and score a rushing touchdown. And that does not bode well for their next opponents.
Pat Foley in to hold, Luke Fenton in to kick another extra point. And this one is right through to make it 68-0 Creighton Prep. Clock continues to run, 6.5 to go in the 4th quarter.
And just an incredible all-around performance for Creighton Prep. Once again, the passing game takes a backseat to the running game, which is huge because it shows that Prep's able to rely on that, which we weren't sure about at the beginning of the season. And, of course, the defense is just going ballistic. We're about to hit 9 quarters where they have allowed 7 total points.
Yep, so the matchup with Papillion La Vista South next week, another unranked opponent. Not sure how much damage Creighton Prep will be able to do. It's got to be careful and make sure that they don't get too comfortable with the way they're playing right now and potentially take it easy on a lighter opponent and run into a potential upset. But as long as Creighton Prep keeps preparing well and showing up, executing everything well, they should be looking great for the rest of the year and into the playoffs.
Yeah, they're already looking great right now. I mean, they basically haven't been playing the starter since the end of the first quarter, and they've still managed to put up 40 points. So they're definitely a very good team. The only question is how they'll be able to do in games where the starters have to play all 48 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to see it. Luke Fenton will kick it away with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and that one's absolutely drilled, but taken at the 1. Ball was dropped for a moment there, as the return will get out shy of the 20 once again to about the 19, make it the 20-yard line, as Caleb Clapper returns it for about 18. And it'll be 1st and 10 there for Lincoln Northeast.
And Lincoln Northeast, probably pretty lucky the clock is running at this point. This should be their final offensive drive in a game where they've had almost no success on offense. So definitely just a learning experience for them. Like I was talking about earlier with Prep, find out what works, what doesn't, and stop running what doesn't.
Gio Arizola still in at quarterback. He's going to roll to his right and be taken down by a couple of Creighton Prep defenders near the sideline, namely George Egan. Loss of 2 on the play. Make it 3. It'll be 2nd and 13. George Egan in on the stop. Under 4 minutes to play now.
And Arizola, we've seen him play kick returner and running back too. We know he's fast. The problem is, as I've had to say so many times, the Prep defense is just so much faster. They've been beating the Millard West, why do I keep saying Millard West? They've been beating the Lincoln Northeast ball carriers to the spot that the ball carriers are going to go almost every time, and that's why there's a goose egg on the scoreboard for the Rockets.
2nd and 12. Looked like there might have been some miscommunication between Arizola and Gozo there on the handoff, and then the eventual keep from Arizola as he goes out of bounds for a gain of a couple. Actually, he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. So it'll be 3rd and 12 with 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Another 3rd and long for Lincoln Northeast. Not that it really matters at this point. But 3rd and 12, we'll see what the backup quarterback Arizola can do.
Mm-hmm. And Prep definitely with a lot of stuff to talk about heading into next week and the playoffs. They found a lot of stuff that works.
Arizola with a very short-armed throw there, and it's incomplete, well over the head of the intended target, and that will bring up 4th down with 2.5 remaining in this 4th quarter. So Arizola now with some poor throws since he's coming. He's been inaccurate several times. He's done all right running the football, but the offensive line has given him no help, and that's really been the story tonight for the Lincoln Northeast offense.
And Prep just with a lot of stuff that they found that works very well. Basically, the entirety of their running backs depth chart has either gotten a carry, scored, or both. And this is really one of the first times that I've been able to think that this team could really give a team like Westside or Bell West a run for their money. I know after the Millard West game there was a lot of happiness in the Prep camps, but it was just like I wasn't sure. You shouldn't really need a 29 unanswered points in the 4th quarter to win a game against a team on your level. But with the way they're playing today, I think they could give anybody in Nebraska a run for their money.
Yeah, and who would have thought it after the Week 1 shutout loss to Westside? I mean, this team has come a very long way. They've had to overcome so much between the tough loss to Westside and then the positive COVID-19 test, shutting them down for 10 days in the early part of September. But they've made it to this point, and they are looking as good as ever here in October. So Lincoln Northeast will punt, 1:55 to go in the 4th quarter. Oh boy, that's a shank. That's a shank off the foot of Isaiah Ramirez, and he will not get the roll on this one as it'll go out of bounds at the 29. So Prep will have great starting field position, and if they hurry, which I'm sure they won't, they could put up 70, but they'll likely just take this to the end.
Pierce Johnson, standing on the West Side logo, looked like he was jumping up and down in a mixture of disgust and anger. Just like, please kick the ball to me. They're not going to hold anymore. I just want a touchdown.
Yeah.
Please. I don't blame him if everybody else is scoring.
Well, hopefully he gets
in on the action.
Hopefully he gets more opportunities. Oh boy, ball comes out, and Lincoln Northeast has jumped on it at the 33. As in the game there for Creighton Prep at quarterback was Joe Anderson, and he fumbles the snap, and Lincoln Northeast will take over at the 33 with under a minute to play.
And just a rough play there for the Prep offense. Inexperienced quarterback coming in. Snap was a little bit high, but he just wasn't able to handle it. And Lincoln Northeast, that'd be a nice way to end the game for them. It'd give them something positive to look at on that bus ride back.
They need something. Arizola's throw. Oh boy, that nearly wiped out the positive as John Pargo nearly came up with the interception, and had he been able to, would have had a clear route to the end zone, but incomplete. Nice play by Pargo. 2nd and 10 coming up.
And not a bad throw by Arizola. The issue was he kind of telegraphed it the whole time. He was just looking right at his intended receiver, and Pargo was able to come in there and knock the ball away.
7 seconds left. If Lincoln Northeast snaps it here, it'll be the final play. And here is the final play. It's a deep shot down the field. There's some separation there. The catch is made. Are they going to get to the end zone? The answer is no, and the game is over. So how close they were to finally getting on the board, but at least something to talk about on the ride home for Lincoln Northeast. But it's over. Creighton Prep wins it 68-0 in a fantastic display both offensively and defensively, as well as on special teams. Prep wins it 68-0. They improve to 4-2 on the season, and they are definitely a legit contender for not only the playoffs, but as you've been saying, a state title.
The running game, we've said it so many times, it has turned from an issue to just the best part of the offense. We've seen so many guys for Prep that are able to take the ball and score with it from basically anywhere on the field at this point. The offensive line playing the best they played all season. At this point, just give the game ball to everybody because this was a near perfect game.
Yeah, cut the game ball into like 60 pieces, give it to every single player. But excellent win for Creighton Prep tonight. They continue to stay hot, now riding a 3-game win streak. We'll be back giving you the game on Thursday night on the Creighton Prep Sports Network against Papillion La Vista. Yep, homecoming night. Creighton Prep taking on another unranked team, and we'll see how the standings shake out this week. But, you know, the Junior Jays will be in the top 10. They are definitely a contender. There's no doubt about it. So.
And this game could be even better for them than the Millard West game, just based purely on momentum, because the Millard West game, that gives you a lot of happiness because, like, oh, we came back from that. We might actually be a solid team. But now they've come out and they've proven that they could be a great team, and they can take what they learned here today about what works for them, what really gets the offense going, what really gets the defense going, and use it in the future, especially against ranked teams like Lincoln East, who they finish off the season with.
Yep, it'll be fun to see how the season ends. We'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be bringing you the game again next Thursday night. For Brendan Preisman, I'm Tyler Reedy saying good night from Phelps Field.